For all your fun under the sun, your vacation starts on Beach Television. You're watching BTV.
Clear Space Theater Company, the only year-round professional theater in Delaware's resort area. In the summer, experience live theater 6 nights a week. Clear Space brings Broadway to the beach with hit musicals like Annie, Get Your Gun, and Chicago. So, for your next night out in Rehoboth Beach, entertain a different idea. Clear Space Theater Company. For tickets and more information, visit clearspacetheater.org or call 302-227-2270.
You think I'm a rebel and to kiss and leave is all I need to do.
This is the big display that we have, is the mother of pearl button manufacturing equipment. It came from the Martinex shop on Elliot's Island, which is about 26 miles south of here, and they came here from Little Ferry, New Jersey in the late 40s. And the elder Martinek actually had done this, I assume, as a young man, child, where they were from in Little Ferry. This was a mom and pop operations up there in people's basements and their garages, and they did sent a lot of this stuff to the garment district in New York. You were noticing the sequins a while ago. Those sequins like that were used on costumes for Jerry Lee Lewis and Elvis Presley back in the day when they were big performers. But they made everything from the buttons to the little single hole sequin, and the last commercial use for them was Barbie dolls. Barbie had mother of pearl buttons on her clothes, but he closed up in 1999. It got too expensive to import the shells, and Mr. Martinek said the quality of the shells, that the last shells that he got when they were in big production back in the 50s and 60s, he said the last batch of shells he got they would have considered it trash. The quality was poor, they weren't real good size, and of course with Velcro and plastic buttons it just put the finishing touches on a dying market. Well, this is what you start with, is a mother of pearl shell. They come from Australia. They were uncrated, they were put in a drum of water to soak for at least 30 days. And then the bill, with this real thick part here, was filed off. And then you started here and you drilled, it's like a hole saw. You cut the blanks out of the shell. And then what you ended up with, here's a broken piece of one, was something like that. You tried to get as many blanks out of a shell as you could possibly get. So then you come down here and you dump all your blanks in here, and it goes through a sieve, and then it sorts them from the thinnest clear down to the thickest.
In all those little bins?
In all those little bins. And there's what your blanks look like. So once you did that, then they go on that backing machine, which is like a big grinding wheel, and it had a water spray on it. And what it did was you went to one side and it was sanded flat, and then you put them over, and that way you had two flat sides. Once you did that, then you brought it over here, and then you cut the button blank out of it with a steel disc, and it too had a water spray on it to cut down on the friction and the dust. You put it in this set of jaws as this thing was turning, and then you just pushed it against that steel disc, and you could get 2 to 4 button blanks depending on the thickness of the shell blank. And then here you had your single for sequins, or 2-hole or 4-hole for your buttons, and you just worked it back and forth like that.
But each button individually?
Yes, each one individually.
That's a lot of time.
Yeah. It's a very labor-intensive process. Now, you're still not finished yet, because you look at the oyster shell and you notice that you have a yellowish coloration there. You can't sell those buttons. They had to be the pearlescent color. So what they would do was put them in a chemical solution, and they would come out looking like this, was what they called smoked. You could sell these looking like that, but you couldn't sell them with that yellow coloration. These are called shovels. This is actually a gross. You fill all these holes up with buttons and you counted out 1 gross. Before they did that, Mrs. Martinek every night at the kitchen table would grade the buttons, look for defects into them. Well, there's one's got a yellow coloration, and you notice it's got a chip into it. Couldn't use that. So once she graded them and got her good buttons out of it, then she would have to count out however many gross she needed by hand. By doing it like this, if you wanted 10 gross, you fill this up 10 times and you're done.
What kind of price would you get for, imagine it depends on the decade, but...
Well, here, and Mr. Martinek loves to get people to try and guess how many sequins are in here. Now, these are white 2-hole sequins, just like these are smoked. There's the numbers he has on it.
So is that 230,000?
That's how many's in here.
And then what's 57? So they were worth $360.
Yeah, at 90 cents a gross.
Wow.
So when you stop and think about it, it really wasn't a lot of money.
Oh, 90 cents for a lot of work.
Yeah.
Down in Rehoboth, next to the Walmart sign, where there's a liquor store, I was surprised to find solar tiles get it jumping every morning when the sun comes up. They got beer, wine, and whiskey, a price very low. It's where all the smart shoppers go. They do the Atlantic Liquors boogie. Come in and see why we are the greatest liquor store in the world. Atlantic Liquors, Route 1 Rehoboth, next to Walmart. Yeehaw!
The Boardwalk Plaza Hotel. Experience award-winning hospitality in a Victorian oceanfront setting. Delightful accommodations, an oceanfront restaurant, a lobby parlor filled with antiques. The Boardwalk Plaza offers a glimpse of an earlier, gentler time. Choose a suite with a private balcony or deluxe accommodations with a whirlpool bathtub. Then take a dip in our heated indoor-outdoor spa. You'll be charmed by the comfortable elegance. The Boardwalk Plaza Hotel, Olive Avenue and the Boardwalk, Rehoboth Beach, Delaware.
Earl Weber here again with Host Star Coast, and today we take you to Chestertown, Maryland, where we hop aboard a schooner called the Sultana. They're about to raise the sails, so let's check it out.
What we have here is a gaff rig schooner, all right? And what that means is, on the mainsail, which is the big one back here, there are 2 pieces of wood. All right, the bottom one, the big one, is called the boom. It is called that because when it comes swinging around, it might hit you in the head and go boom. Nothing. Now the top piece of wood is called a gaff. All right, now the gaff is what the head of the sail is tied to. All right. There's two parts of the gaff. And this is where you guys come in. Alright? Because you get to haul it up. Now there's two parts of the gaff. There's the throat. Now the throat is the closest end to the mast, which is right here. Shit. Kirsten is going to point at it. Alright? Now, that's going to be you guys over here. Alright? That's going to be what you guys are pulling up. You guys over here, you've lucked out. Alright? You're going to be pulling up the peak. Now the peak is the end all the way at the end of the gaff, underneath the captain. She is pointing to it. Alright? Some might say that's the little lighter end, but I don't really believe that for a second. Depending on how hard you pull. Alright, so that's going to be the first sail we're going to set.
Ooh, make his mark, the captain cried to the devil, drink a toast. We'll glut the hole with cups of gold.
This is not difficult at all.
With ghosts. I see your hunger for a fortune could be better served beneath my flag. Ready? If you the storm broadside, pretty boys, one more, excellent, underneath that line, everybody hold the line. And drop the line. High tide floods the bay. Cut free the lines and square
all the way.
Stowed away. The Turk, the Arab, and the Spaniard will soon have pennies on their eyes. And any other latent fancy we will take her by surprise. I will take you, make you everything you've ever dreamed.
Thanks for joining us here on the Sultana. For more information, you can visit us online at www.hostarcoast.com.
The mizzen look I cried. Closer to the wind, my boys, the mighty Captain Rock.
It's a marvelous place to be.
It's a magical place to see. It's a wonderful world of candy. It's the Candy Kitchen. Candy Kitchen. There's a smile upon every face. A deliciously happy place.